Some of the major criticisms of the Surface Pro 8, like previous Surface Pro models, center on the keyboard experience. Firstly, it doesn't sit well on your lap. And while the Surface type cover and kickstand arrangement is pretty clever, it's true that it's quite compromised when compared to a typical laptop. Now, a typical laptop has all of its major components, battery, SSD, motherboard, right in the base that sits on your lap. So it distributes weight nicely across that base, and there's a very thin and light screen that projects upward from there. The Surface Pro has all of the componentry and weight in the screen. The keyboard is just a simple circuit board wrapped in some fabric with very lightweight keys. So there's no substantial weight in it. So unlike a laptop, the Surface Pro needs to balance across the kickstand that extends out behind the device. And ultimately, that means that the balance point of the device is going to sit right towards the edge of your knees. And on top of that, the overall distance between the front of the keyboard and the balance point is longer on a Surface Pro than it would be on an equivalent laptop. So that's a bit of an issue if you have a Surface Pro, especially if you're shorter than I am. But the Surface Pro has a couple of tricks up its sleeve. For example, when you fold the keyboard of the Surface Pro underneath the device, the keys and the trackpad all turn off using a switch that's built into the hinge. And that means that you can use the Surface Pro nicely balanced right on your lap without the keyboard. So this mode is perfect for watching a video on YouTube, for reviewing a document, and for triaging your emails. For me, this is the mode that I use most of the time when I find myself on a plane, on a train, or using public transport. In fact, in an economy seat up the back of the plane, I've found that it's practically impossible to use any laptop to type much at all. Most people I see trying to type on a plane and nudging the people alongside of them, there's just no room for your laptop in such a tight space. So instead of bothering my seat neighbors using a laptop, I'd be better off to fold that keyboard underneath and bring the content right up close. I use the device in this media or studio mode, as Surface call it, to watch videos or to read a book or a document. And that's something that you can't do well with a regular laptop. And in this mode, the Surface Pro is going to balance very well on your lap or on the tray table. The second criticism I hear of the Surface Pro keyboard is that it can be a bit noisy. Typing, especially tapping on that spacebar and the trackpad, can be quite clicky. And it's true that the elevated design of the touch cover keyboard leaves that space underneath and it can be a bit drummy, exaggerating the sounds of typing. But again, the Surface Pro has a trick up its sleeve. Folding that keyboard underneath the device and setting the kickstand flat allows me to use the Surface Pro in tablet mode. And in tablet mode, I'm using OneNote to take notes on screen as though I have a digital piece of paper in front of me. When I'm writing with the pen, I'm focused on taking deep notes. I simply can't write down everything that's being said, and nor would I want to. So taking notes with a pen allows me to write down key points, things that matter so that I can follow up on them later. This in turn helps my memory and my understanding of what's going on in this meeting. On the other hand, typing everything that's said with your keyboard means that you process nothing and you retain very little from the meeting. This effectively dooms you to repeat the same meetings over and over again. So by adapting my meeting workflow to use the pen instead of the keyboard, I get rid of the noisy keyboard problem, and I get better memory and understanding. All of my notes are searchable and can be converted to text if I need them to be. I can capture action items from my OneNote page directly into Outlook for follow-up, and my handwritten notes can be converted to text on the way through. In the next couple of months, we'll see a new note-taking experience surface in OneNote. That will completely negate the need for typing notes in meetings. The new note-taking experience will allow you to record audio and a full transcript of the meeting alongside of your handwritten notes. And that'll work especially well on a Surface because Surface designed the Pro 8 to be a full multimodal input device. What that means is that they focused on far more than the keyboard and mouse experience. Of course, on a Surface Pro, we have the keyboard and mouse, but we also have a touchscreen. We've got the best-in-class pen. We've got a great webcam on the front, and especially important, a camera right on the back that allows you to photograph documents, notes, and whiteboards. And we have those dual far-field studio microphones. Those mics make video conferencing on the Surface Pro better than most equivalent devices. They also allow you to have live captions in PowerPoint, transcripts in Teams meetings, and dictation in Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Already in OneNote, we have the ability to record audio in conjunction with your handwritten notes. But this new feature, shipping soon, will turn that audio recording into a live transcript. And that will mean that you simply don't need to type everything that's said in meetings. Instead, you can just focus on the key points, knowing that you have a full record and transcript of the meeting just in case you need it. We're finally at the point where we can stop bringing human photocopiers to our meetings. And this multimodal Surface Pro design will enable your human photocopiers to go back to being the smart, creative, and productive human beings that they are. So yes, the Surface Pro keyboard is a little bit compromised compared to the equivalent laptop. Because of that, many people have switched over from the Surface Pro to the Surface Laptop, and I think that that's a massive missed opportunity. A laptop doesn't allow you to take handwritten notes with a pen, enhancing your memory, understanding, and learning potential. It doesn't allow you to interact effectively on a virtual whiteboard with your colleagues no matter where they are. It doesn't allow you to take the keyboard out of the way and move the content up nice and close so that you can interact with it using touch or by writing comments with a pen. It doesn't have a camera on the back, so you can't use it to take photos of documents and physical whiteboards. The point is, if you buy a Surface Pro 8 with the intention to use it like you've always used a standard laptop, your old Dell, HP, Lenovo, then you're going to be disappointed by the keyboard experience. But if you decide to adopt a growth mindset with your new Surface Pro, you might be pleasantly surprised at what you could achieve with a little bit of learning, coaching, and practice. And once you've mastered such an amazing multimodal device, I wish I could say that you'll never use a keyboard again, but that's simply not true. A keyboard will long remain an essential input device. And the Surface Pro has a reasonably good keyboard and trackpad setup. Now, before you type in the comments, I can accept nothing but the very best for my typing needs, I want you to stop and think for a moment. Where did the QWERTY keyboard layout that well over 80% of keyboards today use come from? At around 150 years old, the QWERTY keyboard was designed as a compromise to suit the very earliest mass-produced mechanical typewriters. It's a horribly compromised design, and there are far more efficient keyboard layouts available. We only use QWERTY today because over 150 years, it gained widespread acceptance, not because it's anything like an efficient design. Typing on a mechanical keyboard is a compromise, but choosing a true multimodal device means that we can loosen our reliance on that compromise and put ourselves in a position to be able to achieve more. If you want to achieve more, great, because that's what we're all about on this channel. So make sure that you hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can tune in to our weekly Surface Pro tips.